Hello, and thank you for joining us for JD Advising's MPRE course. To get started, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Megan Jabori, and I'll be leading you along the way throughout this course. I'm JD Advising's lead course instructor and tutor. I not only lead this course, but I also lead our other bar prep courses, and I help with private tutoring for both the MPRE, law school, and bar prep. So getting back to the MPRE and this course. Most people sign up to take the MPRE because they know that they have to. They know that it's a necessary step along the way to get licensed to practice law. But many people do not know the specifics about this exam. For instance, what does it actually test? And how do you prepare? So let's chat about that for a second. The National Conference of Bar Examiners write and administer the MPRE. And they administer this exam usually in the months of March, August, and November. The MPRE stands for the Multi-State Professional Responsibility Exam. And according to the NCBE website, the purpose of the MPRE is to measure an examinee's knowledge and understanding of the established standards related to the professional conduct of lawyers. The MPRE tests the disciplinary rules of professional conduct that you can find in the American Bar Association's Model Rules of Professional Conduct, as well as the ABA Model Rules of Judicial Conduct. It also tests the controlling constitutional decisions, as well as the generally accepted principles established in both leading federal and state cases, as well as in our procedural and evidentiary rules. So please take note that the MPRE will not test your state-specific rules regarding professional conduct or ethics. The MPRE is composed of 60 multiple-choice questions. 50 of those 60 questions are scored. You have 2 hours to complete this exam. That means while you're answering all of these questions, you will encounter 10 experimental questions. Most people report that they can't tell the difference between a scored question or an experimental one. So it's best that you try to answer as many questions as you possibly can. This exam is scored on a scale of 50 to 150, and each jurisdiction sets their own passing score. So you should check with your jurisdiction to determine what is considered passing. Additionally, there is something that I want to clarify because we get many questions on this. Let's say you're in a state like Michigan, where the passing score is an 85. What does that really mean? Does that mean you have to get an 85% for it to be considered passing? And the answer is no. Remember, this exam is scaled from 50 to 150. So in a place like Michigan, where 85 is a passing score, this means you're shooting for the scaled score of an 85 on that 50 to 150 scale. So if you're taking practice tests and you're trying to evaluate whether or not you're in that passing range, you should be shooting to get about 32 to 34 out of 50 questions correct, or about 64%. That will usually yield you a scaled score of an 85 on that 50 to 150 scale. So hopefully that clarifies that very frequently asked question. Remember, please check in with your local jurisdiction to determine what a passing score is for you. As for the rest of this course, we're going to be tackling the rules section by section, and we're not going to cover every single rule, but rather we're going to cover those highly tested rules and those rules that people often ask many questions about. So let's get started.